Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. So I want to talk about the situation with R. Kelly, and I've been meaning to talk about it for a while. However, I want to speak about R. Kelly in general. I want to speak about a few things from R. Kelly's case, and I want to talk about a topic in particular, which is in regards to R. Kelly and Aaliyah, which I find to be the most heartbreaking part of this case. And I'm going to make a point, and I hope you guys understand the point that I'm trying to make when I get there, because I absolutely love Aaliyah. Rest in peace to baby girl. But there's something in particular that I do want to talk about. So let's get into it. All right. First of all, with R. Kelly, right? I remember when I was growing up, I loved his music. Loved, meaning past tense. I don't listen to it anymore. But, again, I loved his music. But at some point during his career, I started hearing about him messing with little girls, right? And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know nothing about that, And then R. Kelly would put out a major hit, and everybody would just forget about the fact that there is speculations that he's messing with a little girl or whatever, or some little girls or whatnot, okay? And then something else would come in the news again. R. Kelly, having a sex tape, and he would put out another banger, and we'd hear something again, and he put out another banger. So it was like his music was covering up and sounding out all of the noise in regards to him messing with little girls. And then it got to a point, I want to say, I don't know if it was 2017 or 2019, where, they were talking about muting R. Kelly. And this is when it really, really started to get serious. And people were like, wait, hold on. All these speculations about R. Kelly messing with younger girls and the sex tape and, dealing with Aaliyah, this all might be true. And then the documentary came about. The documentary Surviving R. Kelly, I didn't watch it when it first came out because I just wasn't in the headspace to process all of that. I mean, what R. Kelly has done, and I have to say allegedly, is absolutely disgusting. And I just didn't want to watch the video at the time. But when, the pandemic hit, I actually was in the headspace, okay, I'm ready to watch it. So I watched it. And I was just disturbed listening to the girls speak about what they had been through, and listening to R. Kelly's brother, my God, from jail, talking about what him and his brother had been through at an early age, which is a connection in regards to R. Kelly's behavior, in regards to him having been molested. However, when people go through that, you must go through therapy in order to, get help for what you're dealing with. But there are people that, if they don't get the therapy, they will continue to do certain acts to people, and they'll get to the point where it can get out of control. And that's what's happening with R. Kelly currently. His acts in response to what happened to him when he was younger has gotten out of control, to the point where now we're hearing that, he's messed with little boys. So when I heard that R. Kelly was messing with little boys, I was not surprised at all. I was based off of R. Kelly's behavior. And when I say behavior, I'm trying not to say the word, pedophilia. If you guys heard me, I'm not trying not to say the word. But however, with that being said, there's no boundaries. So yeah, he's, allegedly having messed with little girls and little boys, and we don't know what else, But I will say that R. Kelly presents narcissistic behavior in a sense where he's doing unlawful things for his benefit, and he has people around him that are supporting his behavior and hid things for him over the years in order for R. Kelly to benefit from what he wants. Rather, it's, the girls that are invited back to his house, impregnating Aaliyah, messing with the boys, and giving, these girls STDs or whatever. Like, and people have been hiding things for him for so long. And now this trial comes about and things are starting to unravel. And it's just like when it comes to the narcissist, they get their day where they can no longer use their flying monkeys or anyone around them to help them stay afloat. They will eventually crumble and fall. And this is what's happening with R. Kelly. His behavior, got out of control. And so, I'm hearing all these things in regards to this case. R. Kelly personally is, he's falling apart. Y'all saw when he freaked out on the interview with Gayle King. He's gaining weight. He's frightened. He's scared and trying to manipulate things in regards to this case. He's falling apart. This is the life of a narcissist. He has R. Kelly has no legs to stand on. There's no way that he could have went through life and thought that, all of this was going to, it was no way that he was going to go through life thinking that he was going to pay for what he did to people. But see, narcissists don't have a conscience. They just want what they want. But in regards to R. Kelly and Aaliyah, right? I'm really trying to process everything in my mind here in regards to what happened to Aaliyah. And I think it really needs to be put out there. I mean, it really needs to be said that this man groomed and violated Aaliyah. And she did not deserve that. Rest in peace to baby girl. But to see the things that he was doing to her all these years later, I'm still trying to take it in and realize the fact that all these things were happening in front of our face and we didn't really understand it until present day, right now. That this man, arranged for Aaliyah to get an ID to cover up her age so she could be classified as 18 years old, not 15 years old, so he can marry her. He impregnated her. He groomed her to answer questions in a certain way. He made her think that, just because she's a young girl doesn't mean, she can't be with a older man. Age ain't nothing but a number. And wow, he did this to Aaliyah. And you know what Aaliyah had to do? She had to bounce back and go out into the world and give us the best performances and the most beautiful smiles. She had to pick up the pieces, y'all. I don't think we understand what happened. And she had to give herself to the world like so many other people that have been in her situation, y'all. Aaliyah did not deserve what R. Kelly did to her. And R. Kelly had the nerve to get his raggedy behind up in that Gayle King interview and talk about we're destroying his career, 30 years of his life. But look what you've done to Aaliyah and all these other girls and boys out there. But Aaliyah, that right there, it hits different. And so I think about all the people that were trying to get with Aaliyah or be in Aaliyah's space, and they were pulling her arm this way and that way, and you had R. Kelly that was doing all those things to Aaliyah, and you had Aaliyah's uncle, who I do not trust. He did not protect Aaliyah, and he did whatever he had to do by any means necessary to make sure Aaliyah was in the industry and famous, right? And so for Aaliyah to have went through all of this, it's just she didn't deserve it. And I feel like she is in a safe place. And her legacy will be celebrated forever. There's people that are making sure every day that Aaliyah is celebrated, because that's what Aaliyah would have wanted. Her fans to continue to celebrate her life and her music. And today happens to be August 25th. This is the day that, you know, Aaliyah passed away, unfortunately. And it's like, rest in peace to Aaliyah, but just to think about what she went through, and think about the times when Aaliyah was smiling, right? And appearing to be joyous. There had to be some pain behind all of that. Think about the you know, the pictures that you would see of Aaliyah looking sullen, you know, a bit sad. Maybe that was a true representation of how she was feeling. But I wish that the people that were trying to pull at Aaliyah this way and that way would have treated her right. That's okay. Again, right now, Aaliyah is in a safe place. And again, she is being celebrated. And her legacy will live on.
Everybody seems to think that y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend or cousins or friends. let's just get the record straight.
I better go get me a white Jeep.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Yeah, cool.
Now, who found her?
In the whole wide world.
I found Leah. As a matter of fact, Barry Hankerson, my manager, who's her uncle, told me to go up to Detroit and hear her sing. Once I got up to Detroit, I didn't have to hear her sing because she was glowing. I knew she had it. As soon as she started singing, that verified it. And from there, we became here, and everything is all good.
Where'd the title of the album come from?
She's running around the studio one day with her friends, talking a lot of smack. Talking about age ain't nothing but a number, girl. I was like, what you trying to say? So immediately I heard the song, you know, and I said, I called her back 15 minutes later, told her, check this out. So we cut the track right then and there.
And for the record, you are how old?
That's a secret.
Women doesn't disclose her age.
Now let's change gears here again and talk about R. Kelly's former tour manager and former employee. And they recently testified against R. Kelly. And, you know, with these two individuals, one being the former tour manager, Demise Smith, and the former employee being Anthony Navarro, you know, these two individuals were supporting R. Kelly in his horrible behavior, keeping secrets, hiding things. And, you know, it has come a day where, you know, they have had to spill the beans against R. Kelly. They can't hide anything anymore. And, you know, for the, let me see, the former tour manager, in this article here, and I'm getting this from Fox News, they were talking about how the former tour manager was very uneasy. And you know, I can understand that person being uneasy because they're having to relive all of that stuff. However, that former tour manager, and it's looking like this former employee, they need to be in jail. Because they knew what was happening, but you decided to be weak-minded and support what this man was doing because you felt like you needed your job. Very sad. But some of the things that these two individuals were talking about, like the tour manager was talking about how R. Kelly bribed a government employee to make a fake ID for Aaliyah, saying that she was 18 years old, not 15 years old. So R. Kelly and his old big rusty 27-year-old self at the time could marry Aaliyah. Disgusting. Was that $500 worth to R. Kelly? No, sir. The tour manager also spoke about how R. Kelly impregnated Aaliyah. And the words that R. Kelly said was that, you know, Aaliyah's in trouble, we need to get home. And R. Kelly knew that what he did was wrong. He just was like, hey, he just said it in, you know, some code. Like, okay, Aaliyah's, you know, in trouble. So sad. The former employee spoke about R. Kelly bringing girls back to his living space and making them do incriminating things, asking the girls to submit to him and giving them strict rules. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, this is just horrible. But just in looking at this R. Kelly situation even more, like, it should make you much more cognizant of looking at people that are in power and how they may be doing things to cover up what they're doing behind closed doors. Like, you should think about whether you're being used as a flying monkey or to cover up for somebody that is doing unlawful things, because inevitably they are a narcissist and they will do whatever they have to do to get whatever they want. Do you want to be in the crossfires of somebody's wrongdoings? Do you want to be the monkey pulling the nuts out of the fire to only get burnt in the end? We should also be cautious of older men that only seek younger women or younger girls, or they want women that are shaped like girls. It's an indication of pedophilic type behavior. A grown woman with a grown body makes a whole lot of sense to me. But when you're looking for a woman that is, built a certain type of way, and the way you describe her, you have to watch out for that type of stuff when somebody does that. So with this R. Kelly situation, like, my eyes are open on so many levels, where it's like when you start hearing about things about certain people, it's just like, man, I don't want to look at them in the wrong light. However, I want to make sure that I'm cautious of certain things, just keeping my third eye open, making sure that I protect myself, making sure I'm not investing in someone that's doing wrong, because there are people that feel like they are in power and they can destroy everything in their path, get whatever they want. Their traumas have not been healed. They haven't been healed of their traumas, and the results of their traumas are growing worse and worse every day. Whether they were bullied while they were younger, beat intensely by their parents, then they might have been molested or sexually assaulted, or they might have been in a tragic accident, and whatever they've been through, they're in the world taking it out on people, and eventually that person has their doomsday. All of their horrible acts eventually stop. But just to wrap everything up here, I'm praying for all the victims that have been involved in this situation with R. Kelly and him using his power and his fame to get what he wants from these people and taking their innocence because they are young and weak-minded and easily manipulated. And I hope that they heal. But in regards to Aaliyah, like, just thinking about what she went through and then she had to bounce back and come in front of the world, like, I know that took a lot, but there's people going through that every day as well, which is so unfortunate. But I know that Aaliyah could have had such a bigger and greater career if she was here. But Aaliyah is in a safe place, away from the people that were trying to take advantage of her, trying to take away her innocence, trying to, get things to benefit themselves. And she will be greatly missed. She's missed every day. But R. Kelly is going to get the punishment that he deserves. I don't wish anything bad on anyone. But you reap what you sow. That's what the Bible says. So, guys, leave your thoughts below. Tell me how you feel about this whole situation, especially with this trial right here unraveling. I know R. Kelly has been on trial before, but again, this is the nail in the coffin, honey. Okay. All right, you guys take care.
Wondering about you. Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
Girls who are teenagers.
19?
19 and younger.
I have some 19-year-old friends, but I don't like anybody illegal, if that's what we're talking about, underage.
Some people think that you like underage girls. What do you say to that?
Well, those people that don't know Robert, they don't know me, you know, so. I usually don't get into what people think about me, you know, because all my career, you know, even before the trial, people have had their opinions about Robert, you know, and that's probably because it has a lot to do with me. I kind of shy away from the crowd, you know, because I'm always in the studio, digging deep into the basement all the time of my house, creating music. So, you know, people, when they don't know you and they can't really touch you like they could someone else, they seem to form opinions or have thoughts about you that they like to, you know, think. So
some of the people who have worked with you have said that there's an issue here. Your former manager has said publicly that there's an issue of concern here. Your brother Kerry has said there's an issue of concern here.
Issue of concern? What do you mean when you say issue of concern?
They've said that they're concerned that you like underage girls.
Let me put it to you this way, man. You know, unfortunately, the people that don't work for me says that. The people that do work for me don't say that. And the people that don't work for me were fired. If you had someone work for you and they're mad because they're not working for you anymore, they're used to getting a certain amount of money or they're used to getting a certain amount of fame because they work for you because you're famous, and all of a sudden they mess you around and you let them go. Anything that comes up about you, they're gonna run and say, yeah, you know, he did that to me. I knew this too about him. But you really can't, you know, I don't want you, I don't want BET, I don't want my fans. Do not listen to the people that was fired. You know, don't even listen to the people that was hired. You know, listen to the facts and get into what you think and make your own opinions. If you're gonna have an opinion about me, have your opinion about what you may think about me. You know, what you definitely don't do is go by somebody that was fired and they're mad and pissed off at me because they were fired.
But your brother Kerry was not fired. He's still your brother.
Yeah, he was fired.
But he's still your brother.
Doesn't matter. He's still my brother, but if he's still my brother, why did he get fired?
Why did he get fired?
I can't get into that.
Okay,
you know,
fair enough. But
let me just say this. You know, we may fire each other. I fired him 1,000 times and rehired him.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, hey, it's unfortunate that it's like this. But when you're me, when you're R. Kelly, everybody want a piece of you. And if you don't give them a piece, they'll find a way to get a piece of you, one way or the other. Man, I've been blackmailed 1 billion times in my career. Before the trial, during the trial, after the trial. I've been sued for stuff that, ridiculous things, you know. At one point in my life, I was an ATM machine, you know.
Yeah.
People just come up and just push whatever, and if it don't come out, they'll go tell somebody this, or they'll go run and say this and run and say that, you know. But I'm used to that. I'm you know, you don't get used to it. Let me take that back. I'm not used to it, but I'm used to the fact that people, I know that people will do this. Sometimes even your own family members. And I don't hate none of them. But I know a lot of people be out to get me because I'm very vulnerable, man. Especially a 7-year trial.
So there's no issue here. They're all wrong. There's no issue here. That's what you're saying?